The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Look, before we even get into the weeds of the day, before I start complaining about the spotty internet up here at the sanctuary or the fact that Mitch, the goat, not the senator, tried to eat my hoodie this morning, we have to talk about the air today. It feels different.
It's a heavy air, John. I'm telling you, it's the end of an era. We're coming to you on Tuesday, February 17th, 2026, and the news we've all been bracing for has finally arrived. Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. has passed away at 84.
Yeah, 84. And look, we were talking about the U.S. being categorized as an electoral autocracy by Harvard scholars yesterday. We were talking about the DHS shutdown and the Operation Metro Surge terrorizing Minnesota. And then you wake up to this. It feels like one of the last literal bridges to the moral clarity of the 60s just buckled.
It's more than a bridge. It's a blueprint. I mean, look, you and I have spent our lives in the trenches of the Democratic Party. We've seen the Rainbow Coalition go from a radical dream to the actual literal demographic reality that keeps the GOP awake at night. Jesse Jackson didn't just participate in history, he manufactured the tools we use to fight today.
He did, and he did it while being, constantly underestimated by the very establishment he was trying to save from its own blandness. He's in Chicago, passed away peacefully. He'd been fighting progressive supranuclear palsy for a decade. The family put out a statement. They called him a servant leader. And look, I know servant leader is one of those phrases that gets tossed around in corporate HR retreats now. But with Jackson, it was literal. He was at the Lorraine Motel in 68. He was standing there when the sun went out on Dr. King.
It is absurd to think about the trajectory of that one life from the SCLC to Operation Breadbasket, which, let's be honest, was the precursor to every modern ESG or corporate accountability movement we have to the 84 and 88 runs. People forget he won Michigan in 88. He wasn't a fringe candidate. He was a tectonic shift.
Well, he was the biological rejection of the idea that black voters should just be happy to be invited to the table. He didn't want a seat. He wanted to redesign the dining room. And you see it today. You see it in the way Gavin Newsom is playing alternate president in Munich right now, or how Wes Moore is standing up in Maryland. They are all descendants of the Jackson line.
Absolutely. And as the tributes pour in from Biden and Obama, we have to acknowledge that the governance in waiting strategy that the Democrats are using right now, this counter-government we're seeing, it's built on the foundation Jesse laid. But John, we have to pivot because the world he's leaving behind is, look, it's in a state of high-octane chaos, especially on the border and in the courts.
Chaos. It's a national edging session, Julian. Yesterday, we talked about the DHS shutdown, this partial shutdown because the Democrats won't sign a blank check for what they're calling federal terrorizing. And now we're seeing the fallout of Operation Metro Surge in Minnesota.
It's a bloodbath, John, a moral bloodbath. According to The Guardian and local Minnesota reports, we're finally seeing the withdrawal of federal agents from the Twin Cities, but it's too late for Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good.
Right. 2 U.S. citizens shot by federal agents in January. And now Tom Homan, the border czar, is saying he's pulling 1,000 agents out. He's trying to frame it as mission accomplished, but it's more like a retreat after arson.
Oh, spare me. Homan saying well over 1,000 is leaving is a PR stunt. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey is out there saying, rightly, the 2,000 remaining is not de-escalation. It's an occupation.
It's a localized police state. And look, while the feds are playing hide the agent in Minnesota, Maine is doing something, actually interesting. The Maine legislature is moving toward a legal war chest. They're trying to fund a state-level defense against federal overreach.
It's the brilliant shield strategy. We're seeing it in Minnesota, too. A U.S. district judge just issued a preliminary injunction against ICE, saying they can't just bypass the Fourth Amendment because they have a surge mandate. The courts are finally waking up to the fact that national security isn't a magic wand you can wave to make the Bill of Rights disappear.
Well, let's see if it holds. The system is currently... It's like a radiator with a leak. You patch one hole and the pressure just blows out the gasket somewhere else. Speaking of pressure and gaskets, have you seen what's coming out of the White House social media?
You mean the unfortunate aid excuse?
It's not an excuse. It's a trial balloon for fascism. NPR and Mother Jones reported yesterday on this White House post depicting the Obamas with racist imagery. They deleted it, sure, but look at the language coming out of the Department of Labor and DHS. One homeland, one people, one heritage.
It is chilling, John. I'm telling you, it's not so subtle. That's Ein Volk, ein Reich, translated into Americanese. And they're using music from the Pine Tree riots, white nationalist anthems in official government clips.
Right. And this is what I was talking about yesterday with the Turning Point USA expansion in Nebraska. It's a 1930s recruitment drive. They're not just governing, they're recoding the cultural DNA of the executive branch to speak fluent extremist.
But there's a pushback. My thing is, look at Don Bacon, a Republican. He's actually backing a push to limit the presidential pardon power, a constitutional amendment to stop a president from pardoning themselves or their immediate family.
Oh, Don Bacon? Okay, even a stopped clock is right when the house is on fire. But it shows you the level of fear. When the institutional GOP starts worrying about the pardon power, it means they know exactly what kind of unsubtle criminality is being planned for the next 2 years.
It's a rare moment of clarity. But John, while we're talking about the rot inside the house, we have to look at the fire outside the window. Geneva, the nuclear talks.
Don't get me started on gunboat diplomacy. On February 9th, I said we were one mistake away from a hot war with Iran. And now, Tuesday morning, second round of indirect talks in Geneva. And who does Trump send? Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner.
Because nothing says stable international diplomacy like the guy who sold the Peace to Prosperity plan and a real estate mogul. It's absurd.
It's a slap in the face to the State Department. Jared Kushner, negotiating nuclear stability while Iran is closing the Strait of Hormuz for live fire drills. 20% of the world's oil goes through there, Julian, and we're sending the A-team of nepotism to fix it?
Look, the rhetoric from the Munich Security Conference, where Newsom is currently stealing the spotlight, the theme was under destruction. The rules-based order is a ghost. The Europeans are talking about their own independent nuclear deterrent now because they don't trust us.
Why should they? We're treating the Middle East like a real estate flipping project. Iran wants sanctions relief, oil exports, banking access, and we're busy, what's the word? Oh, right, we're busy bombing their nuclear targets with B-2s one week and sending Kushner to buy him dinner the next. It's diplomatic bipolar disorder.
It's terrifying. And look, we're going to get into the future of the Democratic strategy in a second, but I have to mention the guy who makes this whole platform possible.
Right. Before I forget, look, independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It takes real human work to build the infrastructure. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen at Neural Network Media. He is not a media conglomerate. He is a builder who poured his own resources and time into creating this platform so we could have these conversations. If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/Neural Network Media to support this work. It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running.
It really is. And John, speaking of the grind, let's talk about a man who is currently grinding the gears of the entire California establishment, Casey Wasserman.
Oh boy. The Epstein effect.
It's a boiling point. Yesterday, Mayor Karen Bass, who I have a lot of respect for, finally called for Wasserman to step down as the chair of the 2028 Olympic Committee. This is massive. Sorry, it's crucial.
You can say it's massive, Julian. It's fine. The DOJ dropped 3 million documents from the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And there's Casey in the middle of flirty emails with Ghislaine Maxwell.
He's already selling his talent agency. Chappell Roan and Abby Wambach fled. But the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, is standing by him. They have full trust.
Of course they do. The IOC has full trust in anyone who can balance a checkbook while the world burns. It's the ultimate elite protection racket. It's what I call the performative masturbation of accountability. We get the files, we see the names, but the guys at the top just latch on like barnacles.
It's the contrast that kills me. We're debating whether an Epstein-adjacent mogul should run the Olympics, while in Maryland, look at the Potomac, John.
300 million gallons of raw sewage.
According to CBS and WUSA 9, it's the largest wastewater spill in American history. A 60-year-old pipe collapsed. E. coli levels are 10,000 times the limit. And what does the president do? He gets on Truth Social and blames Governor Wes Moore.
It's a DC water pipe. It's federally regulated. It's literally under the oversight of the EPA. The same EPA, as we discussed yesterday, is currently busy repealing the endangerment finding for greenhouse gases.
It's a tale of two disasters. You have infrastructure literally crumbling under our feet, raw sewage in the capital's river, and the federal response is to point fingers and cut FEMA workers? They're getting rid of thousands of FEMA workers in disaster areas. It is absurd.
It's not absurd. It's intentional. It's what I call budgetary arson. You burn the fire department down and then yell at the homeowners when the house catches fire.
Which leads us, look, we need to spend some real time on this. Where does the left go from here? Because the Democratic counter-government is actually starting to look like a real thing.
You mean the governing in exile tour?
Exactly. Look at the polling. According to Focal data, Democrats are up 5 to 7 points in generic midterm polling. Why? Because people are feeling the icy chill of these tariffs and the border raids.
Well, and because they're tired of the war on reality. But Julian, the divide in the party it's deep. You've got Gavin Newsom in Munich acting like he's the president of the United States. He's signing MOUs with Denmark and the EU. He signed a deal with Ukraine.
He's being a statesman. He told the world Donald Trump is temporary. California is a stable partner. That's a powerful message. It's Newsom saying, don't give up on us yet.
Okay, but then you have Wes Moore in Maryland. He's the shield. He's the one fighting the EPA and the White House over the Potomac spill. He's the one dealing with the actual, literal sewage of federal neglect.
And then you have the progressives, AOC, Ro Khanna. They're pushing for a more radical break. They don't just want to be a stable partner for Europe. They want to dismantle the systems that allowed this electoral autocracy to happen in the first place.
Right. They want to address the biological rot. And look, this is the struggle. Newsom and Moore are pragmatic. They're governors. They have to keep the lights on. But Ro Khanna is out there saying the party needs a vision for 2028 that isn't just, we're not the other guy.
But I gotta say, the midterm outlook is where the happy warrior energy comes in. When you see a 5 to 7 point lead in this environment with the White House controlling the narrative, it means the public is having a visceral reaction to the extremism.
Or it means they're tired. They're tired of the One Heritage slogans. They're tired of the raw sewage. Look, I want to believe the counter-government works. I want to believe Newsom's green energy deal with the UK is the start of a California Republic foreign policy. But if the feds can just shut down the DHS and leave 3,000 agents in Minneapolis, how much governing can the states really do?
They can provide the alternative. That's the strategy. You show the country what a functional government looks like in Maryland and California, while Washington is a circus of Epstein files and pardon power grabs.
It's a local laboratory for survival. But look, the generic ballot doesn't mean anything if the electoral autocracy moves from the rhetoric to the ballot box. We're already seeing the FBI raids seizing voter data. The NAACP is in federal court right now trying to stop that data from being weaponized.
That is the front line. It's the data, it's the courts, and it's the black book. I'm telling you, as long as we have leaders willing to stand in that gap, like Jesse Jackson did for 60 years, there is a path back.
Jesse Jackson. You know, he once said, our time has come. And I'm sitting here at the sanctuary, looking at Mitch, the goat, who just tried to eat a copy of the Constitution I keep on the porch, And I wonder if our time is coming or if it's just going.
Oh, Jon, don't go reclusive on me now.
I'm not. I'm just saying, look, Jesse Jackson fought for the voiceless and the overlooked. And today, the voiceless and the overlooked are being targeted by Operation Metro Surge and a board of peace that's actually a land grab. If we're going to honor his legacy, it can't just be tributes and nice speeches from the alternative president.
It has to be policy. It has to be the legal war chest in Maine. It has to be the pardon power amendment.
And it has to be, actually fixing the pipes. Can we just get the raw sewage out of the Potomac? Is that too much to ask of a superpower?
Apparently, in 2026, it is. But we're not going to stop yelling about it.
No, I think Sarah is already yelling at me to stop yelling at the internet.
She's right, but someone has to do it.
Look, it's a heavy day. A titan is gone. The country is under strategic destruction, according to the Munich conference. And the Democrats are holding a 5-point lead while the White House posts racist memes. If you aren't exhausted, you aren't paying attention.
We're paying attention, and we're staying in the fight.
Well, I'm gonna go feed Mitch. He's the only one around here who actually likes the smell of wood smoke and apathy.
Keep the faith, Jon.
Yeah, keep the faith and keep your eyes on the data, because they're coming for that next.
We'll see you then. Keep fighting for the soul of the country.
Whatever is left of it.